Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council, and what you've been enjoying is what you could be enjoying every day. If you happen to have a child in your home who is, I don't know, what age is girls?
Sixth grade?
Around sixth grade and up,
Younger,
yeah. Can you start them earlier?
Early as you want.
Okay. So if you have a child that you would like to learn to play like those beautiful tones you just heard, then we've got the people that can teach you how to do it. I want to introduce to you, this is Jessica,
Hey.
and this is Cortney, and this is Mandy. And they are three students at Appalachian State University. They're all flute, I guess you're flute majors? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're at the learning to be professional musicians, and also some of them are learning to be educators. But these girls can kind of offer your child a great opportunity to really get into the music. What you were telling me a while ago, girls, what is the benefit? Two of you had lessons growing up, and then Cortney did not. So why was it beneficial to you to have lessons in addition to being in the school band or whatever you were in?
Well, see, for me it helped a lot with confidence because they're telling you, wow, good job, you're sounding amazing. But like in a band, it's just kind of, you guys collectively sound good, but they can't give you the kind of individual help that you really need.
Or the person next to you screwed up so the whole band did bad.
Yeah, so
you
get reprimanded for doing nothing wrong, but I mean,
so
it really
individual
helps.
affirmation.
It's more help.
Yeah, also on an individual level, you get to work with ideas that you might not cover in band, such as the flute specifically, rather than ideas that apply to every instrument. What it takes to have good tone on the flute and on an individual level. And there's a lot more solo work in individual lessons than you would get in an ensemble.
And technique and things of that you polish up, your tone and so forth. Now, how old were you when you started? I mean, did all of you start playing the flute in like school band?
Yep.
Yeah, in
Okay.
school band.
So how long had you been playing before you began to take lessons, Mandy?
I started my sophomore year of high school, so about 4 years.
Okay, so long enough to learn bad habits.
Yeah, long enough to learn bad habits.
So what had you done that was wrong that you needed to undo?
Well, one thing I always used to do is you're supposed to keep your pinky finger down on your right hand for most of the notes you play on flute. I had a habit of always leaving it up. Now, it doesn't affect the notes you play, but it's bad hand technique and can lead to wrist problems. I had to relearn to keep it down for most of my notes.
So a band instructor can't watch every flute player and make sure they've got that going,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They might have mentioned it like once and I just didn't catch it. And it really helped to have someone there telling me, well, you need to keep this finger down while you're playing.
Right, specialized attention. Yeah, just for you. Yeah. Now, how about you? How long had you been playing?
I started my junior year of high school,
So even longer.
a little bit longer, yeah.
So what did you have to unlearn?
Okay, well,
And
first of
show
all,
us, yeah.
I played with my hands over the keys because I didn't have an open hold flute, so it didn't matter. So I played like this with my hand too far forward.
That part of your finger,
And then I had to learn to kind of bring it back where it belongs so that pads of the fingers are over top of the keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how about mouth technique?
Okay, well, I played with my head joint rolled really far in.
And show us what a head joint is.
This is the head joint right here.
They were saying that a while ago, and I was like, a what? I don't play the flute.
I would play too far rolled in, so I would cover the hole too much,
Uh-huh.
which created a pinched sound, and it would make me flat pitch-wise all the time.
Okay.
So I had to learn to roll that out and readjust my mouth for it.
And when you're playing with a whole group, not every one of which is that skilled to begin with, you don't necessarily pick up that a student is doing something like that.
Yeah, you have to pay too much attention to everybody as
Right.
opposed to one person.
That's really a really good point, is that a band director, good as they can be, and we've got some great band directors in our area, but they can only do what they can do. And if they've got, how many kids are in a band? 30 or plus, you know?
Depends on the band.
In
Yeah.
high school, there was 70, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
exactly. So you're looking at this entire flock of people here and trying to get something good out of them, and you can't look at that student and say, oh, your technique's a little bit wrong, you know, unless it's really wrong. Now, Cortney, how did you avoid all those pitfalls?
Well, I didn't really start learning anything about technique until I came here. And starting in like sophomore, junior high school, I actually did get wrist problems.
Ah.
And it's when I
okay.
got here, and the flute teacher, Dr. S, she was like, you need to put your hands like this and not how you had them. And within like a week, my wrists felt so much better and I could play for longer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That much difference.
So, yeah.
Huh.
And I used to play, like Jessica, how she's saying she played rolled in. I used to play like rolled out, because there's like I read somewhere like the hole in the mouthpiece was supposed to be lined up with the keys, and it's actually not. And that's how I used to play.
Oh.
And then Dr. S was like, it's supposed to go here. And I'm like, that makes a little bit more sense.
Do you wish that you had done lessons earlier?
I wish, but it was more of like we just couldn't afford it. So.
And let's talk about that. Now, you girls told me today that you're going to offer these lessons. And I was thinking in my head, this is almost a combination of lessons and coaching. You know what I'm saying? And you're offering this to young students in the community for a really inexpensive price, folks. I have never heard of lessons this cheap. And it's just because these girls are wanting to get the experience of teaching, and they're also wanting to give your child the opportunity to get some specialized attention. And for $10 for a half an hour, that is really a phenomenal price. You know, like they said, as we get more skilled, we're going to go up on price, but get in now on the ground floor, they're going to be cheaper. So you're not in this for the money, I gather.
No.
What's your point? Why are you wanting to teach?
Well, see, when I was younger, I never really had a group of friends that I could call, like, I'm their friend because we all enjoy so-and-so.
Same thing.
So when I got into band, it was like, wow, I have all these friends because we can all read music and we can all play instruments.
Ah.
And so I want to encourage people to learn early so they can get into a program like
Cool.
that.
Really
Yeah.
cool. Okay, now what about you, Mandy? What's your motivation?
Well, I'd like to someday get my doctorate and maybe teach flute at a college level.
Why
and
do I
have
not
my
have
own
any trouble
studio.
picturing that? I think that definitely fits you.
So it's kind of experience for that, and a lot of what Jessica was saying as well. Music has been a big part of my life, and if anybody wants to make it a part of theirs, I would love to help them achieve that.
And also to give them, as you were saying a while ago, the confidence so that they can play. Because I know that there's always a first chair, second chair. There are people that are chosen for solo pieces and things like that. So you want to give them the opportunity to really polish up to those levels. Cortney, I think you were the motivator behind this entire thing to begin with. You and I met first. And so you drew these two into the process. Why did you decide this?
Because, like, I don't necessarily want to teach when I get older. Like, I want to more perform, but, like, when I get older and don't want to travel anywhere, what I want to do is, like, settle down in a small town where children don't, like, have any opportunities for music.
Right.
And give lessons at a cheap price so they can have an opportunity. So that's kind of what I want to do here. But since I'm not, like, exactly much of a teacher, it's like these two can come in and help me as well. But I do want to give people an opportunity that they won't be able to have elsewhere.
And, you know, one of you mentioned friendship, too, and I think that the relationships that will inevitably develop between you and your students will be strong, you know, and will be something that they kind of have their personal mentor to kind of help them along as they're traveling the path that you've already traveled, you know. So I think that's really cool. Now, you girls play together. We just heard you do that, but you also play individually. And I'm going to ask, we've already taped some segments of you doing that, so I'm going to ask Max to kind of just air those pieces right now at this point, and then we'll come back in a second. You know, these girls are each individual players. They each have their strengths. They each have their personalities. They're all great. I'm really impressed. But, you know, if you enjoyed one more than another, you can let me know, and then we can line you up with that particular teacher or not, you know, and however it works. But, you know, we can also kind of, I was thinking a while ago, we could even kind of bounce the students among you sometimes. And I'll tell you why I said that is because that we have teachers that teach all kinds of things. And, for example, the watercolor teacher that teaches this week and the watercolor teachers next week know different things. They have different strengths. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you gain something from each one of your teachers. I know you girls know that from college.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So each of you has your strong point. And so we might even have an opportunity for students to kind of, you know, experiment. So you kind of get to pick what you want to do, folks. The main thing you've got to do is you've got to contact us. Contact the Arts Council at 264-1789. You can also email me. That's wcac@watauga-arts.org. You can also go to our website, watauga-arts.org, and there'll be on our online store, there's a place to contact me there. or at the top of the page, there's also a place just to simply email me. So a variety of ways that you can link in. I'm hoping that you girls are going to get just piles of students, you know, and I hope that we have lots and lots of beautiful flute sounds all through the building. Of course, I know from experience they're not always beautiful right at the beginning.
It takes time.
That's okay. We'll deal. No problem. Now, if you'd like to see more or get to know these girls better, they are going to be at our second Saturday in February. We are celebrating the high school art that particular month. We have in all 4 galleries, the Watauga High School art department has each teacher is taking a gallery to showcase their students' work. So we'll have a lot of young folks around that night as well, but these girls are going to be performing that night and also interacting with you and telling you more about themselves and more about their flutes and so forth. And then we will be signing people up just starting whenever you start calling. So we'll get it going. I'm excited to have this aspect because I think we're providing a service not just to the students but to you girls as well, because it's giving you the chance to practice working from this side of the fence, you know. So it gives you that opportunity. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting to know you a lot better. So you need to check our website. There's just a ton of great stuff on it, and particularly check our online store so you can sign up for different workshops and classes and lessons and so forth. It is watauga-arts.org. Check it for this and a lot more.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.